Good morning. This is Norma Cowie once more here for Norma Talks. Remember, every Wednesday morning I begin to do this. And if you are interested in joining me, you might say in studio and listen, have a talk before, have a talk after. You're very welcome. Just contact me through my email. I'm sorry, from my website. And I was away in the weekend and I'm still a little tired from all the driving. I live in a relatively small town. It's not super small. But boy, when you go to the big smoke, I'll tell you, traffic is unbelievable. And I found by the time I drove for 5 hours to get back home, I was really tired. And yesterday I felt the same way. So my brain is a little still tired, where I used to do that drive no problem whatsoever. But it's getting a bit long these days. So today, being the first Wednesday in the month, I have done my usual tarot look at what this month is going to bring. I was looking back to find last month's because that one I wasn't totally sure how exactly it would go. And I'm just trying to find where I placed it. Right, I'm going to get the share screen up. And here it is. And this is this month. I'll see if I can make this a little bigger because we had an actual symbol fall out, which I don't usually always happen. And sorry for the light that came through here. It's very hard sometimes to get all that sorted out. I had an actual symbol. I want to see if I can get that in. There we go. Come out. So we've got, instead of my usual 9, the magical 9 number that I work with a lot is we've got 10. Today, which is 10 is number 1, which is new beginnings. But I wanted to say from last month, I really was, when I looked at the symbology last month, it was like, I don't know if I want to read this. And it did show towards the end of the month. Now, if you follow often maybe not what's happening in mainstream media, but if you're happening in other medias, other videos or things, there was a lot of expose, especially came out in this last while. And I haven't read, because I was away, I haven't really caught up on everything that was, quote, exposed. And so that kind of was all in last month's reading, and I wanted to go over that, and I couldn't remember where I kept it, and I couldn't find it this morning. So what I'm looking at is what's coming up in this, and what I asked for is what's around North America, which is Canada and the US, this coming month. And we're already into how many days? 6 days now. Now, what if we want? I'm just going to go through and just kind of explain a little bit of how to link. We're going to link the symbology here. Now, the King of Pentacles is an attitude symbol. Now, I have quite a different take on tarot that has emerged from all the years of study and where I originally started from, and I've done some talks on that. But one of the things I found is the court cards, of which we have 1, 2, 3 symbols in this, is attitudes that we have. And the King of Pentacles to me is the most, in the way, is more of the highest. And one of the reasons is, see this little crown that he has is made of lilies and roses, which appear in the first card of the higher arcana symbols, which is the journey we do, is at the bottom of that, which are flowers of aspiration. So it's like he has achieved his material world. He has an understanding. So what we're seeing here in the beginning is that people are becoming aware. People are becoming and putting their lives in an understanding. And the people who have in studio with me were saying, you know, we're all actually single women, and a friend of mine is in hospital who's a single lady, and we were just talking about how we are alone, and what we've had is a time to talk together and express and become aware, which is great. And each one of us has a degree of movement because we're able to drive still. Thank goodness, to different places. But this is one of the things I love about the King of Pentacles is the sense of his awareness and knowingness. And there's a little bit of if we can talk a bit about the symbology, there's the one over here is the world. He has this in his world. He understands his world. He aspires for more, but he understands, he's created and he knows. So that is already what's basically occurred. And now we're kind of coming more into what's going on, which we have here is the 6 of Cups, which is the past being reviewed, these people don't look normal people. I always call them the like little fairies or whatever, elves or who knows, but they are looking at the past because in the cup symbology, these have flowers and shrubbery in here, which might be a little difficult to see, but it's there. And one of the things that happens, and maybe I can do this, I can come in on, and I don't know how I'm going to do that because it's too high. Sorry, I'm just experimenting again. One day I'll really it's taking a while, but I'm getting there slowly and surely. Anyway, this is about the past. So this is reviewing in the past. And I have noticed quite a number of things going back and talking about the last couple of years, and maybe even back further, the history of things. So there's a review going on of things that have occurred, things that have happened, and how things may have been or could have been. And that brings us to the High Priestess, another higher arcana card, and of which we have 4, and counting the lovers that fell out is the 5. This is about decisions. What do we choose to do with this knowledge that's coming out, this reviewing? What do we choose to do with it? And my sense when I feel this is usually like, oh, there's a decision that we need to make, and what are we going to do? But I feel like I'm not making any decisions. It's like I'm sitting here going, I know I've got to decide something, but what? And I feel very wobbly. So to me, I just want to jump into the next symbol, which again is another attitude symbol, which is the Page of Wands. And he is the thinker. This is when you first have an idea and you're thinking, and you actually can become very tunnel visioned and very caught up in whatever it is, because he's not seeing the whole wand. He's only seeing where he's looking. And so he's really exploring that. And that goes on. And we're getting towards the middle of the month now, where the excuse me, the Hermit is another higher arcana, another real depth learning, and also the seeker in a way, looking out, trying to figure out, trying to put things in perspective. So I really think these next week, there's going to be a lot of conjecture and thinking, and as things have become exposed, there's going to be all this thoughts, well, what do we do with this information? And people are going to be torn a little bit apart, because when you have a concept that you believe in, when you have a concept and then all of a sudden information starts filtering in that is suggesting something different, how do you respond to that? What do you do with all that? And sometimes it's like, shut the door. I don't want to see or know about it. Other times it's like, well, let me explore a little more. Now, what threw me a little bit here, and I want to place this around the 18th to even the 20th of the month, is the Lovers, which is I'm sorry, it's not the Lovers, it's the Empress, which is the universal love symbol. And this represents love. Everything in here, this symbol here, even though the light kind of stops it a bit, it's all about love. In fact, it's funny that light is right over the cushion with the love symbol, Venus symbol on it. But her dress, she has stars. The love encompasses our world. And for those of you that have listened to me regularly, you'll hear me talk about the universal love force that exists and is there for us. And without judgment, with just love to me is acceptance and forgiveness. And so we've got this time period in here. But once this little time period of maybe putting things in perspective, really seeing the bigger picture, then comes another attitude, which is the Knight of Pentacles. He sits on his horse, he looks out, but he's a procrastinator. He's waiting for the right time. He's not sure. What do I do here? What do I do there? Because there's no action in this, but a little bit of thinking going on here up in the head. As he looks out, when do I plant my crops? When do I go and do what I need to do? All those questions that go on. And consequently, what ends up happening? Nothing. You just stay and you wait. But then we come into this next symbol, and now we're getting into, as far as I'm concerned, the middle, like 25th, 27th of October, right? Yes. And so we're looking at this. This is what happens when you go driving and you lose track of days. And so here is the acceptance. Now, this is actually for people who are interested in the tarot. This is a number 2, the beginning, the decision. This is number 20. So, and there's an 11 in there, which we don't have here, surprisingly, but it isn't. And that's where you make a commitment to a decision. But here is the acceptance of the decision. So when we're contemplating a decision back here in the next few days of what to do, which seems like nothing, except we do come to an understanding of some form, then we don't know what to do with it. Here is the acceptance. This is how things are. This is how things are happening. This is where we're going. And then as we head towards the end of this month, I forgot to mention Thanksgiving's in the middle of there, is that we're coming forward and we're having ideas, we're looking ahead. None, except for the Knight of Pentacles, nobody is looking out ahead. Knight of Pentacles just looks and is waiting for the right time or what to do. There's no real decision there. It's really a contemplative looking, but is looking ahead. And now here, after the acceptance, the 3 is beginning to project a little more. Fortunately, I can't bring that down in the way I want, exactly where I want it. So as we come to the end of this month, we're going to be looking ahead. But the unexpected thing is this particular symbol here, which is the Lovers. The Lovers is number 6 in the Higher Arcana. To me, this is confusion and uncertainty and the need to be in alignment, to really have an alignment of the direction that you want to go. Now, I could have talked about this in the beginning, but because it came out in just before the symbol of the King of Pentacles. It fell out. And I looked at that and I thought, well, that's interesting. Let's put that over here. Now, I wanted to place it somewhere else, but to get it in the camera shot, it was a little complicated. So everything that I've said has a shadow of this Lovers, which is confusion. I think this is going to be a confusing month, even though we have moments of clarity, even though we have moments of awareness and direction of how, what, when, and where. It's like we need to be very clear on what we are being things that are coming out, how we're balancing those. And again, what is it we're looking for in relation to our own lives? Because no matter what is happening on a world scale, we still have to deal with who we are and what is happening to us. You know, the censorships that have gone on, the mandating that is happening, all of these things bring stress. Stress to some, not to everybody, but that stress level goes out into the collective consciousness. The collective consciousness then permeates all the peoples, even if you're very clear of what's happening and what's going on and everything else. I do feel, and I feel optimistic about this, is that towards the end of this month, we will have an element of clarity. But until then, it'll be a lot of information perhaps coming in, not all the time, it'll drip in. But then what do we do with that information and how do we place it and where do we put it and where do we go? I'm just going to stop the share here on the pictures because I want to just talk a little bit more about this. So the whole concept, when I see the symbology in front of me, it just feels like there's no real action until the end of the month. So we're looking into November. It's like everything, it's like, you know how you push the stop button for a video? I feel in lots of ways this is what's happening. Even though the information is there, people don't know what to do with it. They don't know what to bring forward. They don't know how to make it work. And so it's like, what am I supposed to do with this? Because it's not all the information. It is not all the validity. It is not all the different elements. And so what happens is this wonderful little symbol here, the Lovers, and still the light shines on it, which is confusion. It still plays in that. And so you'll get some people who will be very clear and be able to move ahead and with directiveness and direction. Others will be not sure. The Empress sort of tells me there will be a sense of understanding of the love. And now I'm going to two people have asked me recently, what do you think in relation to this love, the love element coming out further? And I've had to think about that a little deeper, perhaps, than I answered to both people. Sometimes I find when people are very much into love elements, they talk about love, but they don't always deal it with reality of how the reality is happening. And it's like love answers everything. And in a way, that is absolutely correct. Love is definitely an answer. But it's the connection to the universal love force, which is totally does not judge at all, does not have judgment in it, much to many people saying it does. I have not found that to be true. That's where I really ran into and learned about forgiveness and how important forgiveness is. But I also know in my life, because I've done business and because I've done those things, we have to be real. We have to have a reality base of what's happening and what's going on. And it's when you don't have that sense of reality that very often love kind of gets lost. You know, it's like, oh, well, we'll just love everybody. But sometimes we have to accept reality. Sometimes there are people out there that don't care about love. They do not care about growth. They only want power. They want whatever that means to them. They only want power over. Now, I was thinking actually of doing a talk, which I will probably do next Wednesday, around power and around personal, you might say personal power, how that works, because it's really important to understand. We want to have that compassion and that love and understanding. We want to have that awareness that we are who we are, but not all people are created equally. And that was something that I found over the years, that we're not all equal. And even though we might have a desire to feel love, and to me, that's universal love, sometimes people aren't willing to put the work in to get there, to allow themselves to feel it, because they still feel unworthy. That's what I work with a lot of people, is the unworthiness, the feeling that I'm not good enough. Nobody really loves me. I went all through that. I understand that. It took me years to come through it. And luckily now we can have people, once they're aware, oh, we've got to clean up the unworthiness, that it doesn't take too long to do that. We can move you if you so desire. But again, it's like this. We can sit on the fence, or we can begin to feel that connection and know that it exists. There's some great people out there on the net that are giving really solid, beautiful love and messages that really inspire and help you. But you still have to get over that deep feeling that you're not worthy. You need to connect to that loving force, not just have it as an ideal. It needs to be connected. That this Empress, this love symbol here, is the key to love universally. It is everywhere. I was trying to explain to someone the other day about how I believe in science. They have found every molecule, no matter whether it's a big one or a little atom, it doesn't matter, has I think it's 99% of space. And that's the love quotient. It's there, it's everything, it's in us. We can have it, but we need to access it. We need to believe in it. We need to trust it. We need to know that it's there. But it doesn't mean we forget this. We were given a brain for a reason. The brain is to be able to assess and to think logically, to use logic. So we're given in a brain our mind and our emotion. Love is a feeling. So it's part of the emotional quotient. The mind is what's put into it. It's very much like a computer. I've said this before. First time I ran into a computer, I went, oh, they've created the subconscious mind. But you need to have the two intertwined. You need them to come together so that we have reason with the compassion and lovingness and the awareness, so that we can maneuver to make it great for mankind. It's not about power over or power under. It's about power with. And we need, first of all, to create power within our own selves and our own mind. So it looks like this is going to be a very, very interesting month with a lot of contemplation, a lot of awareness. And I think I'm going to finish on that. And I'm just going to say thank you so much for listening and watching. I really appreciate your comments. I do try to get to them and reply to them. And I say try because sometimes I don't do it every day. I don't check on everything every day, but I do work because I appreciate them. I appreciate them in my heart. And I also would like to say thank you for those that have subscribed. It makes my heart very warm when I see another subscription has come in. But also too, I know that if you watch, some people haven't subscribed, that's okay. You listen, that you come back periodically. That's great. And I also feel that I just want to say thank you. And remember, I will be back on Sunday for a Sunday report. I've got some new plans also coming, and I look forward to when I get to that. So I just want to say thank you so much, and I'll see you on Sunday and again next Wednesday. Bye now.